absence is excused, right?
All right, everybody, good morning. The Facebook Live interface looks super different. All of this looks very different than it has in the past. So once again, I have to find where the chat is. It used to be over here. Now it looks like it's over here. I don't even know what's going on. But good morning. It is Wednesday, September 22nd. We got some stuff to talk about for sure. Before we get to your questions, though, we're going to start off with a special guest and another special guest, bonus special guests together in stereo to talk about attendance policies and papers and things like that. So without any further ado, here is Miss King and the one and only Gina Cooper.
Thank you, Mr. Patton. Good morning, everybody. I'm Dana King. A lot of you know me. This is Miss Cooper. She's our attendance technician. She's also the one who is behind the window in guest services. One of the things we wanted to talk with you about this morning to clarify, because we clearly haven't been clear, is this form, which a lot of you can't find and don't know it exists, and it's called Form 1710, Request for Excused Absence for Educational Reasons. What's been happening this fall so far is parents are writing me notes saying, hey, we're going to be gone these dates and whatnot. And I've already contacted all the teachers and I've let them know, but I wanted you to know. And that's sort of not the process. What we don't want is teachers getting a lot of emails from you and they don't know if the absence is excused or not. So I've got Miss Cooper here and she's going to explain the process of what we do with this request for excused absence form and what her role is. And that's the camera.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, all. My name is Gina Cooper. I am the attendance technician / guest services. So as Ms. King had mentioned, this request for educational leave form, you can actually find this form on the Millbrook High School website. If you click on when you go to the website, to your right side, you'll be able to see the link for the actual form. You also can go to parents and you can request the form there. So how this process works is once you get the form, the quickest thing to do, the fastest thing to do, is to email me or call me if you have any concerns on how to fill this form out. I can actually walk you through that process because I definitely want to make it simple for you and the student. And so once you get that form and then you go ahead and fill it out, then what happens is the student can drop the form off at the guest services window or also through our Dropbox, which is in the lobby area. Once I get that form, I will go ahead and stamp it as the time it came in. I submit it to Ms. King, and once that form comes back, two things can happen. I usually ask the students if they want a copy of the form. A lot of times they'd be like, no, then I just tell them to go ahead and check their attendance, and I will go ahead and update their attendance to excuse. I know that there are some things that students are going to be doing educational-wise, but sometimes this form can be a little difficult to fill out. So that's why I request that if you do get it and you're not sure how to fill it out or what to put on the form, just go ahead and email me at gcooper1 at wcpss.net. And also you can call me at 919-850-8787 extension 21471. Thank you, guys.
So that's what a lot of people didn't know, is that Ms. Cooper is over the attendance process at our school. And I'm sure Mr. Patton will put in the chat her email and her extension number. But if you'll send your request for excused absence to her, or your sick notes, or all of the things, she'll communicate with the staff. You don't need to do that, and then the staff will be real clear that that it's an excused absence, and we'll get the work prepared, and we'll work with you to make sure your child doesn't lose much work. I've been getting these requests for multiple days, like 5 and 6 days in a row, and that's hard. That's hard for a student to keep up. It's hard for a teacher to support, and it's hard for you to manage this process. So if you'll let Ms. Cooper do that piece, I think we can get this to be a smooth process. Thank you very much. Charles, do you want me to talk about?
You certainly can. They should be getting the email now.
Okay, so about now, you should be getting a school messenger email from me that talks about this incredible threat against Millbrook High School. I was watching the news this morning as I was getting ready for work, and apparently 11 high schools have gotten the same vague threat social media post. And what it said is, it's an old post of a gun, and then written on top of it, it says, Rollsville High School, you're next. Heritage High School, you're next. East Wake High School, you're next. Well, we got one yesterday evening that says Millbrook High School, you're next. So we called security for Wake County, and they have investigated this post. They believe they're on the trail of who keeps resending it, but it has hit a lot of high schools. And I told the admin team yesterday, I said, it's coming. It's going to be Millbrook High School. I sent the email out to our faculty this morning saying it's not a credible threat. You should be getting yours now about 8 o'clock, because we can't send it earlier, or I would have. But if your child texts you and said, oh, I saw this post, it just keeps going round and round and round in the community, and we're trying to get a lock on it. But there was a post yesterday evening that says Millbrook High School, you're next. I am sure we are fine. Wake County Security believes all the schools are fine. But we would appreciate your support in making sure your child stays calm or goes home if he or she needs to. So thank you for letting me be here this morning, and let me turn it back to Mr. Patton. Your chat's going up, sorry.
It's okay. That's how we roll. All right, so welcome. Again, thanks for being here. I adjusted the camera, and now it's too short. Okay, so I got to go catch up in the chat real quick. Mostly good morning. So hello, good morning, everybody. Should this form be used for sports?
Yes.
Yeah, so like if your student plays a club or a travel situation, fill that form out as well.
And actually, those are not excused.
Oh, they're not excused.
But Ms. Cooper can model for them how to make it excused, the wording that we need to make it excused.
Okay, so again, if you have a question about using that for a club travel sport, talk to Ms. Cooper about how to fill that out appropriately. What about non-educational absence? What is that process? Doctor's appointment, vacation, sick. Email it to Ms. Cooper.
Yep.
It really is that easy. Like, Ms. Cooper knows every which way from Sunday to catalog and talk you through it. When in doubt, just make sure you have a document from whatever the appointment was. And if you can email that to Ms. Cooper, it's easier, but you can also have your student bring a hard copy when they come back. So we're going to move the form in a little bit to make it super obvious. But if you go to parents and if you literally click the word parents, it'll take you to the parent homepage. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the word forms. When you click the word forms, it'll go whoop, and it'll be right there. Oh yeah, thanks, Miss. As usual, Miss Miller's there, keeping it ahead of the game for me. Okay, so what about Millbrook sports? No, if it's a Millbrook, like if your student is missing class for an athletic event, that should be excused. So that shouldn't be an issue. Is there a way to watch the video of the activities fair? I've not found it on the website. It's not going to be a video, I don't think, because it was like a walkthrough event. But there is going to be like a follow-up slideshow with all the clubs and all the advisors that are out there. As soon as I have that, it'll be on the website. We'll send it out to everybody. I just don't have it yet. But I have been asking, so soon, I hope. Probably today or tomorrow. It was supposed to be yesterday. All right, so again, go ahead and throw any questions you have. I'm going to jump over to, actually, no, I'm not going to jump over to the Google form yet. I'm going to talk about the bathrooms. Because I'm sure you heard something in the news or from your kid or in the News and Observer that all these bathrooms are getting vandalized. Good news, bad news. Bad news, yeah, it's here at the Brook. Good news, it's not some of the extreme stuff we've seen. So far, we've had, I believe my count, with the 1,800 that they told me about this morning, I believe my count is 11 separate reports of various vandalism in bathrooms. It's all in boys' bathrooms, every single incident. The majority of the damage has to do with soap dispensers getting ripped off the wall, which in addition to property destruction and our current state of healthcare consciousness. It's also a health concern because it is hard to get dispensers. Like, we just can't get another one to put on the wall. So if your kids are coming home saying there's no soap in the bathroom, that might be true because we physically don't have another device to put in there right now.
It's a TikTok challenge.
And yeah, all of this stems from a TikTok challenge. It's happening at a lot of schools across the district. Oh yeah, and the country for that matter. What we saw yesterday is kids are starting to steal the P-trap on the bottom of the sink. So when you turn the sink on, it goes straight onto the floor or your shoes, depending on what sink you're using. So that's extra frustrating for sure. So here's what I want to say and what I want to ask. Most of you are like, oh, I'm certain my kid told me about it. Yeah, for sure. Or my kid's not involved. That might be true. And the overwhelming majority of the time it is true. Like, at this point, those 11 incidents, I think, are probably 12 to 15 students. I think a lot of them are repeaters we haven't managed to find yet. But the amount of time I'm spending watching security footage right now is obscene. But what I would ask is this. It's not so much, the frustration isn't so much the damage, because we can find kids and we can account for that. Right now it's hard to track it. But what we're seeing is that other kids, even great kids, are going to the bathroom to take a picture and send it to their friends. Everybody wants to have seen what has happened. Your kids have seen what has happened. There have been many students who I know as a fact have been in the bathroom when things have been happening and can't tell me, won't tell me what's going on. I need your students' help. This whole team and this school need your students' help. If they see or know of something happening, we have to know about it. And I know that's hard. Kids don't want to tell their friends, all this other stuff. I get that. But what is going to happen is kids are not going to have access to hand soap because it will have all been destroyed. And girls will have it. You know, the girls' bathrooms are great at this point. But the boys are going to be stuck using hand sanitizer all day. So far, I think we've only lost 2 of the, 70 sinks we have in the bathrooms across campus. But if it starts affecting sinks and water, then things get really, really dicey, right? We've got 3 custodians here who do an amazing job, but they are running around right now trying to keep up with it. Because not only are they stealing the P-traps, but like the actual cutoff valve is disappearing. So we can't even go in and turn the water off of that sink. So some poor kid walks in, turns it on, and there it is. And if you're familiar with the student bathrooms here, it's not knobs, it's a pressure. So once you push it, you're committed for 10 seconds. So anyway, there's that. We really need help. I really need you to talk to your kids about, hey, if you see something or you have a photo, like, you need to tell an adult, because we want your kids to exist here in a safe place. My whole job is this safe for kids? How do I make sure kids stay safe? I love you all, but I need some help on that. If you've stopped getting the weekly principals message, you can go ahead and email Chris Bunting, cbunting@wcpss.net, and we can make sure we get you squared away on that. For Miss Chapman and Miss Noon, we can make sure that happens. All right, now I'm going to jump over to the Google form. Again, ask away in the chat if you've got questions, midweek updates. I did not pre-read these questions, so this could be an adventure together today, fam. We have asked a lot of questions together. Alrighty, let's see. Today's the 22nd, so last week was what, the 15th? So I know I answered these questions and those questions, and I answered that. I did not answer that one, so we're going to start there. Alrighty. Let's make that darker. In elementary and middle school, we get the school messenger phone calls in addition to emails. You've gotten emails but no calls. That is different. So definitely email Coach Bunting, but maybe also CC me on that so that I can talk to him and have better answers about it. Somebody typed nothing. Not blank, but literally the word nothing. So I hope you're having a great day out there if that was you. For the activities fair, is there any way they can link? Yes, we're going to put it on the website as soon as possible. How are you? Is it stressful being an AP? Man, bless you for asking that question. I'm okay. I'm getting up to go to the gym every morning still, so that's good. I am getting nervous about trying to keep up with student behavior and trying to do all the other things, like making sure this place is awesome for learning. It's really frustrating when learning and being in classrooms with teachers and helping groups of teachers with their great ideas can't happen because I'm just talking to kids about not tearing soap off the walls all the time. I was on call on Friday. I dealt with it all day on Friday. I dealt with it all day on Monday, following up on the incidents from Friday. And then I dealt with it half of the day yesterday. And then I had lunch duty for third period. So I really only had 90 minutes that wasn't bathrooms since Thursday afternoon. And Thursday, which was a work day, the team spent half the day looking at cameras because of the first 2 bathroom incidents. So that's about how we're doing. But other than that, great. Thank you for asking. For the sophomore IB project in March, will it be virtual or in person? At this point, it will be in person. We do personal project presentations based on whatever the school setting allows. Right now, we're in person. We usually do those in the media center so that people can, we have like 3 classes in there at a time, only 5 or 6 kids at a table with the 2 judges. So it's, there's a lot of stuff going on. We might have to reimagine that because it can get crowded in the media center. And the media center's been pretty hot. Apparently, maintenance is still waiting on a part to fix the AC. But right now, that should be in person. Where is my office? My office is office number 1329. If you come into the main office, you'll meet Miss Peak. My office is the 1, 2, 3, 4th door down on the left. Second to last door on the left, immediately across from the women's room, the second women's room. Do you know the drama club remind information? I do not, and I don't know that I can get it because Mr. K is in class. But if you email me, I can definitely get it for you. But I would just email Mr. Cutchin, DKOTZIAN at WCPSS.net. How far in advance can we schedule an appointment with Ms. Draybot for a DEC? Ooh, I don't know. Oh, wait, I missed a question. Sorry, I'll go back in a second. I don't know the answer to that question, but it is a great question. I would just, well, I don't know, let me call her. That's how we do it around here, right? 21473. So I can't get Ms. Draybot right now. But I don't see any reason why you couldn't schedule at least 1 or 2 weeks out. Beyond that, it might just be that her calendar doesn't have the ability to project out that far. She's responsible for dealing with a lot of stuff that changes in the moment. And so she probably doesn't want to have to cancel on a lot of people. But if you shoot me an email or Ms. Draybot, JDRABOT at WCPSS.net, we can get you that information for sure. Oh, man. This is a tricky one, but we're here to answer questions, so here we go. What is the reason behind pulling kids out of class for ISS after they've been tardy? We keep calling it ALC. Really, it's ISS, in-school suspension. I think that missing instruction is a bad consequence for being late. Also, why are there consequences for unexcused tardies but not unexcused absences? So, there's an awful lot to unpack here, and it goes back years and years and years and years and years. Fundamentally, the reason there's not a consequence for an absence is because that is not a... One, we wouldn't be able to keep up with it. I have students in my alphabet right now that have, 17 absences across all 8 classes or more. I have a student today that got their 10th tardy of the year, so I don't even know what I'm going to do. Like, that student got their first period of ISS yesterday and then was tardy like 3 more times. And that's just an issue with what is taking you so long to get from point A to point B. I can tell you, having run many experiments in this building, that you can get anywhere you need to be in 5 minutes. You might need to go a different way. You might need to not stop and talk to your friends. You might need to not try and go all the way to the cafeteria to go to the vending machine. which most of the time isn't even turned on. But you can get from any point in the school to any other point in the school within 5 minutes, no problem, if that is your intent. So the reason we start pulling kids for tardies, it's not so much that we're pulling them for a tardy. I understand why it seems like that, because when this happens, we assign a consequence. We don't start assigning ISS until like the fourth one. So we start assigning consequences when we see a pattern of behavior, when students consistently can't do or meet an expectation. And we have truncated that whole process a lot. It used to take 13 or 14 tardies before you had to come see an administrator. And I think we dropped that way down to 7 or 8. So it goes a block of ISS, a block of ISS, a day of ISS, and then maybe a referral. It's not a lot anymore. But fundamentally, it's about the pattern of behavior and not one instance of being tardy. If that were the case, then the minute somebody was tardy, their very first tardy, we would pull them and put them in ISS, but that's not the case. We're waiting until their fourth and fifth tardy for them to be pulled out of class so we can start to say, hey, what do you need? What is not happening here? And so it just becomes a reality check. And we also, we don't pull them out of the same class. We do try and limit the impact on any one class because of that consequence. Obviously there are a whole lot more variables during first period getting to school, especially if you ride with a parent. But the students who are getting in trouble for tardies most of the time are kids whose bus dropped them off at 6:55. If you've been on campus for 30 minutes, I struggle to understand why you couldn't get to class on time. We understand that there are traffic issues, but again, that's part of why we have that buffer of warnings. Sometimes we do have situations where kids are late because they're waiting on a sibling, and we have to talk to the family and say, hey, what's going on? What can we do? How can we help? But at the end of the day, I guess we're kind of all ears on what other consequences you would think, right? Like, so after school detention isn't really an option because some kids don't have transportation. Like, it is a real family hardship to say you have to stay after school and then have a parent miss work and not get paid to come pick you up because of a tardy. That seems much more unrealistic. That's not the right word. My brain's not functioning. But anyway, it's hard, and it's a fine line that we walk. The consequence for missing class is just that, missing class. You have to do all the work. You have to get caught up. You might have missed information. And